Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Manny Cash here with another video with HBHS. And yes, I'm home. I'm quarantined right now, but it doesn't mean we're not working. We're still working. We're still calling. We're still sending offers. So, but in this video, I do want to, create some content for you guys and share with you a little of the knowledge that I have. Right now, disclaimer: I don't want to come up as an expert on the subject. I just want to share with you a little bit of the knowledge that I have and where I got those knowledge from. Right. So the first thing first is that I bought this book years ago, way before I was into real estate, wholesaling real estate. I used to be in the retail world, selling those skincare and products, those products that vibrates on your body, whatever. Long story short, I've been always most of the time 100% commission, which I love it. I create my own money. So now that I'm into real estate and I've been doing it for a while already, I see that this book talks about cold calling. So funny because back then I wasn't cold calling. I was just, trying to stop people, harassing people and selling, something and get some money from them, right? But I had to learn how to do all that, how to talk to them, body language, right? Asking questions, active listening, offers, closing the deals, right? And it was just right there in between the buyer and myself right here, right? So when I got into wholesaling, I was like, hey, look, you got a cold call. And I'm like, cold call? Like, I've never done that before. Like, I was so afraid of cold calling. And for multiple reasons. Why is because, I have an accent. Spanish is my first language. But I, soy un caballo de guerra, so I never stopped. And I just dedicated time to learn it and keep moving forward and apply the same skills that I already had in selling. And I applied it to real estate. And that's how eventually, in my opinion, how I becoming seeing some success, right? Being successful in the industry. So let's talk about this book. The book is called The Sales Survival Handbook, right? In here in the part where it talks about cold calling, I'm gonna read it. Now, by the way, if I mispronounce a word, see, I just mispronounced one. But if I mispronounce one, it's because I usually when I read in silent. I don't read in aloud, because I feel like I sound weird, but here we go. So cold calling. Cold calling is an activity that most people can't stand, right? Most people don't like. Most salespeople don't like cold calling. And I was one of them. As I said, when I first got into wholesaling, I was like, hey man, you got a cold call. I was like, oh shit, cold calling? Well, I was afraid. But, to the time learning. So it says, but it's also a big part of sales. And is responsible for generating significant percentage of all deals. For the more calls you make, the more leads you're gonna get, the more motivated sellers you're gonna get. Whatever industry, I don't want to talk this in just for real estate. I'm talking about for all of you that are commission based. My salespeople, door to door, B2B, those that sells AT&T or Verizon or whatever, it's car salesman, right? Whatever industry you're a sales, I want this video to go to you because it's really important that you understand the psychology of selling. There's always a buyer and there's always a seller. There has to be a transaction, either with money or an exchange in order for a sale to happen, right? A seller psychology is different than a buyer psychology. You just have to meet in the middle between both of you so you can make something happen. What's called in our language a win-to-win situation. Now let's keep moving forward right here. On the bottom, it says, this is my favorite part because it says, those who are able to master cold calling become better salespeople, not only because of the deals they get from making calls, but because learning how to get past the gatekeeper and overcome objections improve all the skills that a salesperson needs in order to be successful, right? So meaning the more you do this, the more you actually cold call. And it's true, like I found myself where that it's easier for me to talk to anybody, whenever I want something or they want something from me or we have to negotiate, like it's just easier, right? So now the other part right here, the book, what I like is before you get started, right? Before you start cold calling, it says, what you do to prepare yourself to make calls, it's as important as what you do to make the actual call. So think about that for a moment. What you do before you actually pick up the phone and start calling, it's super important than just when you're on the phone with the homeowner, right? And it says what to do. Try to put yourself in a good mood. Try to put yourself on a zone. Get on the zone, get on the mood of calling. That's why in our company we have a boiler room. That's always happening there. Just calls, call calling, right? Boiler room. Make sure you practice. It says here, practice, right? Practice the scenarios with coworkers, with your friend, with your tia, with whoever you want to practice with. But make sure you role play. You gotta role play your script. Important. You gotta role play your script before you get into the field. The way I see cold calling is like an actual sport. It's in a sport, right? It's in a field that whenever I'm cold calling, I'm there, I'm playing. But what I do before that? It's warm up. How do I warm up? It's role playing, right? Questions, rebuttals, right? Between the coworker, the associate that I have in the office. So make sure you do that as well, right? Listening to recordings. So if you have some good calls, record those leads and save them. That way you can go back and listen to what you did right and what you did wrong. So that's that. And then now the other page here, it's what to do and what not to do. I love this one. I'm just gonna cover the first one that it says what to do. Try to build a relationship with the customer before jumping into the sales pitch. So important because we as a wholesaler, I'm talking now to the wholesalers, we like to go just sometimes straightforward to, hey, what's the condition, motivation, timeline, price, boom, 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 boom. No, let's build some rapport, right? Let's build some trust between the seller and yourself. Remember, they don't see you, they can't see you, but they can hear you, right? So how are you gonna make the homeowner believe that you actually have the money to buy the property cash, to buy the property fast, to pay all the closing costs, and there's not commission, right? So how are you gonna make the homeowner believe those things over the phone? So that's when it comes to building the rapport, building the trust, and of course knowing what you're talking about, right? Because remember, we're not selling anything, we're selling ourselves, we're selling a service that we offer to a homeowner. So I want you guys, those of you that are trying to do wholesaling, that understand that wholesaling, the real estate happen to be the product, right? The actual property, but we are into the people's business. It's like my man Brent Daniel Tech, TTP, talking to people. We have to talk to people in order to this happen. So with that being said, guys, I recommend this book to you guys. Just it's not real estate related again, but it's sales, and I'm pretty sure anything that you read here, it will help you. Because also you have to be comfortable when it comes down to commission based. If you're working commission based, it's a different world than actually W2 hourly, whatever. So also talks about cold calling script, important about having a script. So with that being said, guys, I'll be doing more videos on this. It's your boy Manny Cash, cashing out. I love y'all. Thank you.